Hello, welcome to Flavors of Africa. I'm Doris Ufwebune.
And I'm Kevin Ufwebune. Now, for the past while on Flavors of Africa, we've been going around the continent. We've visited beautiful countries in the West.
Nigeria.
Liberia. We've been to Ghana. Yeah. We've been to many countries all around the continent. We went to South Africa. Now it's time to go all the way to North Africa.
To Morocco.
The Kingdom of Morocco, of course, where we've never been.
Yes.
But from what I can see, it's a beautiful country, which I would love to go to one day.
I will too.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
I mean, it has a constitutional monarchy. It's ruled by a king.
Yeah, unlike other African countries that we
Exactly. I think Morocco kind of stands out. And the king, of course, his name is Mohammed VI. So he rules the country.
Okay.
The capital is Rabat. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes,
of course, the country has an Arabic feel to it, and Arabic being its first language.
Most people would have thought it's Casablanca because it's so popular, you know, it's a popular city in Morocco. I thought it was, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. With the popularity that that name in the city has alone, it's not hard to mistake it for it being its capital. And Morocco is a beautiful country. It's bordered by Spain, and that's why you see the similarity in the cuisine between Morocco and certain European dishes that are close to the Mediterranean.
That's right.
Exactly, and it's also bordered by the sea as well, so you can imagine how beautiful it would be on the coast.
Yeah, so when you talk about food, I guess that's why we're making couscous.
Yes, and it's a staple dish in Morocco.
Exactly, and it's eaten in some parts of Europe, even in Western world here, you know, we're eating couscous.
Remember in certain episodes that we visited, we found that African tradition tended to be displaced around the world. That some people would take bits and pieces of it, and then you find bits and pieces in Europe and all around the world with their different variations, which is very neat.
Exactly, like the Creole cooking. If you talk about Creole cooking, that's New Orleans area. You know, you talk about Africa, you know, they have taken African cuisine and made it their own. If you talk about the gumbo, which is going to be in the next episode, gumbo, I mean, you can't go to, not that I'm trying to take away from Morocco, but since we are talking about how African dishes have inspired dishes around the world, now I'm bringing in New Orleans. Because when you go there, I mean, you can't go to New Orleans without eating,
hint of Africa right
without eating gumbo. So we have all our ingredients here for this very dish, couscous. So we have the chicken, we have the pineapple, and you know, around this time of the year, with a new year coming up, Morocco, they use lots of spices, but the interesting thing is that during the new year, they kind of reduce the spice.
Well, they don't have as much foods that are spicy and bitter. They kind of like to go with the sweeter foods because it makes for a more prosperous year. So that's what they look forward to, right?
My kind of dish. So that's why we're going to make it savory, sweet, if I might use that word. Because in other episodes, remember we said in Africa, we don't cook with sugar. However, since we are visiting Morocco,
and it's that time of year where it's New Year's.
Staying with Moroccan tradition, we are going to make the dish a little bit sweet.
Perfect.
With the hope that the new year will bring us prosperity, you know, sweet memories. So that's what we're going for.
Exactly.
So I'm going to let you cut the ingredients.
So I just wanted to make sure I know what we're working with here. So we have the pineapples, and of course pineapples you can find at any grocery store.
That's right.
You mentioned the chicken.
The chicken breast cut into pieces. Okay, and then we'll have the pineapple, and the pineapples are what is going to make it tasty,
and give it
sweet.
Its own natural sweetness.
Exactly. So we are not going to use sugar. So we're using pineapples and in place of the sugar, right? And now, of course, we have our spices. We can't talk about Morocco without talking about spices.
We're talking about Africa without
spices. So we're going to use just a little bit of spices that we have here. All right, so I'm going to get the stove going.
All right. And then we have our veggies here as well.
We have the veggies.
And it's kind of nice to start off the year healthy with a healthy tone to it.
So please, can you do the honor? I'm going to show you how to do.
You do the honors and I'll take lead.
So notice how I'm using the red onion, because the red onion has a natural sweetness to it. So that's why I'm using the red onion. Normally, I will use the regular onion, but because it's Morocco, so we're going to use the red onion.
Exactly.
All right. Remember, I was showing you a little trick, so how to cut the onion. Okay. You know, like the chefs do. Like I said, well, I'm not a trained chef, but I cook for fun. We cook for fun, right? Exactly. So that's what we're going to do. But it doesn't matter how you cut it, whether you cut it the traditional way or you cut it like the chefs. No wahala.
Did you know that Morocco is actually the 12th richest country in Africa?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
It's very unique. It's the only country in Africa that's not part of the African Union.
Oh,
so
really?
when I say that Morocco is unique.
Interesting. This is unique in that sense. Yep. So this is what you do. So I'm going to let you do it, you know, because you've been doing very well. So I want to make sure.
I'm just going to dice the red onion.
Yes, and you watch your finger. Remember how I was showing you, but it doesn't matter.
I wasn't thinking about my fingers. I was thinking about, you know, when the onion gives off its flavor, it makes you tear
so
up.
You don't want that.
Will that happen, though, with
it happens with every onion, so. Okay, so,
I think it's
so do you mind if I take over from here, you know, because the end is usually difficult.
Tricky.
But we're just gonna use, you know, like, it doesn't matter. Chef will say, okay, this is how I cut it, but again, you know,
perfect.
No wahala. So we have the onions cut up, and then the next thing here is this. Like, do you mind if I cut it? Maybe I should be adding, and then you should be cooking. How is that?
That's not a bad idea.
Okay, so
I will come over to this side.
Exactly. So once I add the vegetable oil, again you can use olive oil, which will go very well with the dish. As I've always said, if you don't have the olive oil, if you have the vegetable oil, you can use it. No wahala.
But I think this dish is one of the most easiest dishes too.
It's so easy.
One of the most exotic too, at the same time.
Yeah, so once it heats up, I'm going to add the onions, and I'm passing over the spoon to you.
Like you're passing the torch.
Exactly. That's what it sounds like. So I'm just going to chop the celery, which goes very well with Moroccan dish. And then we have the red pepper and green pepper. Of course, the garlic, not too much, maybe 2 cloves of garlic.
And from what I'm told, Morocco actually starts to celebrate New Year's on the 12th. If I'm not mistaken, on the 12th of January.
Oh, wow. And how is that? Because they have different calendar months, right? Calendar year.
Well, that's true. I mean, when you look at the Arabic, when you look at Arabic traditions,
yes,
they follow their own calendars in some
just like Ethiopians too. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Because they have their own calendar.
Exactly. Ethiopia actually celebrates in September.
Oh, wow. Interesting, eh?
So you need to know this information, of course, as a tourist.
Exactly. Before you go about and say, Happy New Year. And they say, oh, you know, it's not really New Year. You know, New Year is coming up. Yeah.
So you're just dicing the vegetables.
Just there, not too much. So I think the oil is heated up. So
perfect. So what are you going to add first?
I'm going to add maybe we add the chicken first.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay, so, oh wow. Watch out, it's gonna crackle.
Now what do we keep the stove on?
We just keep it at medium temperature.
Okay.
You know, because we don't want to burn down the house, right? Okay. So you can go ahead and mix it. I just lower it a little bit. Okay? And I will continue with my carding. So this I'm gonna just put in the sink, okay? So one thing I like about Morocco is their traditional way of life, their food. You know, they have lamb. I don't know, have you tasted the lamb dish?
I haven't yet.
Oh well, I have. It's awesome.
I mean, I was happy when you said that. What we're going to use today in the couscous was chicken, and chicken being one of my favorites.
Exactly.
Of course, so.
And then they have the, You know those pastries? What do you call it? Indians have it too.
Is that the...
They kind of wrap it up. I don't remember what it's called.
It's made out of phyllo. It's very sweet.
Yeah, it's like phyllo. Yeah.
I think for me, their desserts are very, very sweet compared to North American desserts.
It's really,
so it's very
really
exotic and different for me, but I love the main courses.
Okay, sure. I'm adding the red onions, and then we cook it down for about 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, so to that, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt, not too much salt, and then a tiny bit of spice, and that's thyme.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'm wondering if you're allowed to use different spices that would interest you, like.
It doesn't matter.
About the cinnamon.
That's what I said. That's what culture is all about. You know, just because it's Moroccan and they use their own spice doesn't mean that you can't use thyme. Like I'm using thyme
exactly.
here.
And
if you don't have all the spices from Morocco, you can substitute with African spices that we'll talk about extensively. No wahala.
Exactly. And I was just going to say, when you look at the world today in food, as we were discussing earlier, you know, there's various twists to it.
Yes.
And how does that come about? By someone trying something new. So work with what you have.
Well, that's what cooking is all about.
Make it your own.
So I'm just adding all the ingredients all at the same time. And then we continue cooking.
It's starting to smell delicious.
Awesome, I can smell it. And it's so easy, you can make it at home.
Perfect.
I'm so excited about our guest today.
Yes,
coming
we have
to
a very
talk about
special
South
guest.
African wine.
We have a very special guest, and it's our first on Flavors of
Yes,
Africa.
we're very excited about that.
We're going to see how we can further complement our dish and make the holidays a truly memorable one.
Exactly. So I'm going to add just 4 cloves of garlic, you know, to spice it a little up. So I'm just going to chop it here. Okay, so we add that. So the next ingredient...
Is it important to dice the garlic like you did, or can we...
Exactly. Remember, I used to puree it because of different dishes. But this one, I don't want it to be, you know, soggy. I just want it to cook down with all the vegetables.
Perfect.
So this is the pureed tomato paste to give it color. So that's what we're going to use today.
Now, I remember we used this when we made rice and stew, when we were talking about dishes in West Africa.
Exactly. However, this one is different because, you know, we just want to have color.
Yes. So am I doing a good job?
You are doing a very good job. So here we have so while you're doing that, I'm going to add the couscous.
Perfect.
Okay.
So now that's the grain that makes it's like what rice would be to a rice and stew dish.
So I'm just gonna add it.
Perfect.
Like for 1 cup of couscous, you need about 1.5 cup of water.
Okay.
You know, just to cover it a bit. You know, so I'm just gonna clean up this. So you stir it and then you cover it up. So that's the trick.
And couscous is such an old dish.
It is.
It dates back to the 1600s.
Exactly. So I'm just going to add the water a bit and then we'll cover it up. So I'm just going to shut that one so it doesn't overcook.
And then I'll keep mixing.
Yeah. Which one is it now? Okay, good. So the next ingredient is the pineapples. So we add all the pineapples. Maybe not all of them. So you keep on mixing. And then,
I can see how that's going to turn sweet.
Exactly, because of the pineapples. Okay, so we keep on cooking that. And then I think we should be taking a break shortly because to introduce our guests. So we're going to take a break. And so when we come back, we introduce our, guest for the South African wine.
Welcome back to Flavors of Africa. We're here with our own very special guest, Ryan Scott from PA Make Canada. Welcome, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
And now we'd like to see what wine is going to go with our wonderful chicken couscous, which we prepared today to sort of give us a taste of Moroccan culture. So can you sort of walk us through?
Yeah, certainly. Well, I brought 3 different ones, but one that I think would go quite well is our Two Oceans Sauvignon Blanc.
My favorite.
Yeah, excellent. Yes. This is it's actually a very popular one in Canada. This is the #1 selling imported Sauvignon Blanc in Canada.
Oh, wow.
It goes great with your chicken.
Okay.
So
that's what we have here today.
I'll open it up for you.
Awesome.
If you want, I'll pour a little for you to try.
Okay.
On the nose, when you smell this one, you get a bit of gooseberries,
awesome.
A little bit of grass as well.
Okay.
Kind of your asparagus and such, which really complements the couscous and the chicken that's in the dish. Yeah.
Wow.
So is this sort of a sweeter wine? Because
I
think
a little bit. It has a nice sweetness to it.
So you have to look for yourself.
One more,
too,
yeah,
so
certainly.
Toast.
It is a bit of a sweeter wine because you get your gooseberries that come out of it.
Oh, wow, interesting. I've always said that you can't really talk about Africa without talking about South African wine. And South African wine is so famous in the world, you know.
It is.
Everybody knows, most people know about it, and that's why we're talking about it. We keep talking about South African wine, because we want to tell, you know, the world that Africa has so many things to offer, you know, apart from the culture, the dishes.
Exactly. And can you tell us why South African wine in particular is so popular?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you a little bit how South African wines actually came about. They were the vines were first planted in about 1655 because during the shipping trades, a lot of the the shippers would get scurvy.
Okay.
And they planted the vines there because the wines have a lot of vitamin C, which counteracts scurvy. So it really helped with the shipping trade, and that's how the wines were first introduced into Africa.
Oh my goodness.
And it was one of the first New World wines around. And a lot of the other countries that were New World wines, they were more producing that wine for religious ceremonies, like your sacraments and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
And the South African wines, they really exported a lot of their wines because it counteracted that scurvy, so they would export it to Europe.
Okay.
So it's
a bit of history there. That's kind of neat.
Wow. So I'm going to, you know, put out the dish that we've made today.
Well, in the meantime, can we get a bit of history with the other wines?
Yeah,
they
certainly.
Seem similar,
you guys are
but
talking about that?
It looks like there's a little bit of an edge to them.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference between the 3 wines. We have one from Flat Roof Manor, which is a Pinot Grigio.
Okay.
This is one that I would probably have as the dish is being created.
Okay.
It's a nice, easy drinking wine, crisp. You get sort of your peach and pear apricot that comes out of it, so it's a very easy drinking wine. It's a good one to have before a meal.
Interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Now, in one of our prior episodes, we made a pepper soup. Of course, by its name, you can understand it's very spicy.
Yeah.
It's a traditional Nigerian dish that you kind of have as an appetizer.
Okay.
Can I have my pepper soup with a wine such as this?
Yeah, certainly. Well, I would find this wine to be a little bit sweeter. Okay. So the sweetness of that would really work well with the spice of the pepper. So definitely I would.
So it would kind of neutralize it in a way.
Yeah, yeah, certainly. It would work well on your palate.
Perfect.
So another wine that we did bring was Durbanville Hills, which is from the Durbanville region.
Okay.
Again, it's another Sauvignon Blanc, which the Two Oceans one is. This one is they're all beautiful wines, but I really quite like this one. This is a wine that on your nose you get a lot of asparagus, and I'm a huge fan of asparagus. Again, goes quite well with your chicken dishes, your pasta dishes, and again with the couscous would go really well with.
Oh, fantastic. So they have different regions that produce South African wine in South Africa. So it's not just one particular area?
No, not at all. South Africa, there's 5 different districts that produce the wines, and in those districts they're broken down to regions, and then from those regions wards, because it comes down to the soils and such. And just with Africa, and the mountains all around there. There's so many different soils that are right around there, so that's why it's broken down so much.
And speaking about the flat roof, I was reading a history about it, and because I'm looking at the picture with the cat, and I'm thinking, what has cats got to do with the wine?
That is a good question.
Yes.
Well, the flat roof manor, when it was purchased, the new owners, there was a cat that would hang around, and they really weren't quite sure why this cat was there. And they decided to actually produce wines that were very similar to that cat.
Okay, interesting.
Were long lasting, of course, because the cat was always around and elegant and such.
Wow.
So there's a little bit of a story that goes along with that.
Yes, I was reading about it. Very interesting. And the two oceans is because of the two oceans.
There's the two oceans, yeah. You have the Indian Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean.
Yes.
And
coming
where
together.
the two of them meet, they create this very unique, cool climate, which really helps with the wines. Because during the days, you get the cool breeze from both oceans. And in the afternoon, you get this nice mist that really coats the vines and gives it a lot of moisture and humidity as well. So.
Interesting. So if somebody wants to know about your company, PMA Canada, how can they keep in touch?
Well,
do you have a website?
We do have a website.
Okay.
It's www.pmacanada.com.
Okay.
And for all of our wines, spirits, and beers, you can go on that website. And you can
so we tell
about
our viewers everything that they need to know about PMA Canada. Interesting. Okay. Do you have other questions? You know, because this is an opportunity for us to learn everything about
involved in wine.
Okay.
Why I got involved in wines because I love wine.
Okay.
Wine, it's something that you will never know everything about it because every year something changes.
I see.
One year you could have very torrential downpours, which really changes that wine. Or you could have some fires, and the smoke from that fire would really change the quality of that wine as well. So
I see.
It's a lot of fun, and plus you get to drink the wines, and, and they're beautiful tasting wines. So, but with the company I work with, it's we're a purveyor of fine wines and spirits. So I have some beautiful wines, of course, from South Africa, which makes my job a lot of fun as well.
Fantastic. Have you ever been to South Africa?
Unfortunately, I haven't been there yet.
I think this is an opportunity.
Yes,
I
hope
know so much
so.
about South African wine. You should visit. And so, apart from Calgary, so you have offices around Canada.
Yeah, Peter Malzinski Agency, which PMA is the acronym for it, is all across Canada. So definitely Two Oceans and Flat Roof Manor and Durbanville Hills are wines that you can find across Canada.
Interesting.
These wines actually, another thing about the Durbanville Hills, they've done some great things for South Africa.
Fantastic.
They were part of Wines to Water, and what that was, a portion of every bottle that was purchased would go back to this Wines and Water program where they would dig wells in Africa, and they would actually teach the villagers how to maintain those wells.
I love that.
So way to go.
That's really nice.
Yeah, they're doing a little bit to help their community as well.
Fantastic. See, they are not just selling wine, they're helping Africa. So that's what we are aiming, for, right?
Yes.
Exactly, helping community, and it brings us to saying that food is culture, right? That cultures that eat together stay together.
Well, speaking of eating together and building solidarity, we've made our delicious chicken couscous.
Exactly. So we are going to sample it with Ryan.
Yeah, perfect. And our wine.
Exactly. So I also have rice. I always have choices for guests, in Africa. We cook variety of dishes, not just one. We have couscous and then we have rice. Because this very dish goes very well with rice. So you have a choice. All right.
I'm excited to try this.
Thank you. So just excuse me, I will just put some rice here. Wow, it's so interesting.
I think that's neat that this just gives you choices. You have your rice and then you have your different types of rice in your couscous. I think that's neat.
Yeah. Okay, so here we have the couscous.
That smells wonderful.
Thank you. So we need, so this is for you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Perfect.
So now we have someone to taste
Thank
the
you very
dish
much.
with us. So I have mine. And then we're going to toast with the South African wine.
That sounds great.
Excellent.
Okay. This is for you.
Oh, thank you very much.
We thank you so much for coming to our show. And,
Thank you for having me.
Here's to a new year.
Cheers. Yeah.
Yes, Happy New Year to
Happy New
both of
Year.
you.
Okay. This is nice. So we're going to try the food.
I really like the light taste that it has with this wine. I think with me, I don't really like strong. So I like that twist. Perfect.
It's fresh, it's crisp, it's very easy drinking.
Yes.
This is good. Wow.
Wonderful.
It's good. The pineapple
nice.
gives it zesty taste.
And sweet
Yeah, it's a lot
for a
of sweet.
prosperous year.
Exactly. So, as always,
It's been a pleasure here on Flavors of Africa. And tune in next time where we continue to take you around the continent in tasty ways. And remember, of course, that cultures that eat together stay together. And through food, we can appreciate culture and promote diversity.
yeah.
Thank you very
Awesome.
much,
And
Ryan
thank you
Scott,
so
for
much
being
for
on our
coming.
show.
Thank
Ryan
you for
Scott
having
from
me.
PMA. It's been great. And we'll see you next time. Tune in again.